We have quite a bit of heritage type tours with the UK and Ireland and Scotland. And then we do a lot of one-off Spain and Portugal, river cruises, South Africa, Ghana, things like that. Just to give you an idea, we do some mission trips. We do a little bit of everything, but there are of course some things that we don't do. If we can't do them well, we don't want to try to even do them. We try to stay within our lane, our wheelhouse, and be the best that we can be in what we do based on the relationships that we have around the globe. So that's a lot to do with it.
Yeah, but I know we've worked with people on trips that we haven't necessarily done it. We have a relationship with somebody. You've done some things at times.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't hurt to ask the question.
No, I mean trips to Croatia, trips to China, trips to different areas in Africa. Yeah, you name it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love to do different types of things, even if it's a little bit outside, of course, Morocco and other places. So you name it. Scandinavia, of course, we've done many times and for many groups, so all over the place.
Yeah. So lots of good places to visit. So if you have a question about whether we travel there or something or not, feel free to either give us a call at the office, or you can shoot us in a question at info@ittworld or sales@ittworld.com. I was told to slow down. Sometimes I'll talk way too fast.
Well, we get a little excited, so it's good. It's not bad at all.
So, and today's topic is very exciting. I know both of us love what we're going to be talking about today, and that is food.
Food is good. That's one of our favorites. Yeah. So we always like to joke, it's paid for. So needless to say, we always enjoy, I think, not only is it wonderful to experience different cultures, of course the highlight is meeting the people, but for me personally, one of the highlights is the food. And I think part of what even we're seeing in our culture today is a lot of foodies, and people are wanting to actually experience the places and do a little more of that. So our trips have really changed probably over the course of the last 12 to 15 years, where we've incorporated a lot more different types of food options and things like that, depending on the type of food or things that you're looking for, destinations. Literally, I mean, culinary to wineries, you name it. We do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So just a real quick, just want to apologize for the sound being out when we first got started. So just want to go back real quick, introduce myself. I'm Tim Parker. I'm the global marketing developer here at Imagine, and this is?
I'm Rick Ricart, and my wife Amy, owners and president of Imagine Tours and Travel. We are a third generation company, and I've been doing this for 31 plus years, and you've been doing this a little over 10 plus years now, right? 11?
Yeah.
Even longer.
You look good for 31 plus years.
I appreciate that. Thank you. a lot of gray.
A lot of gray. We've definitely seen a lot of gray come into our hair over the years for sure. But so we're going to talk about food this week. We're going to start, I think, in Israel, which is one of our favorite places to be. And
it is.
We're excited about everybody traveling back over there again. So I think one of the questions came up about the type of dining that you will see while you're over there. So this is what you're going to do is we have typically, I think, buffets that happen throughout the day, either for breakfast or for dinner.
Correct.
And then normally throughout the day, and we'll point out some of these things that you'll get to see maybe whenever you're out for lunches. But first one up is hummus, which is one of my favorites.
I love hummus. Chickpeas, lots of olive oil.
Yeah.
So
there's a couple of things in Israel that we'll talk about that are made from chickpeas. Hummus is one of those things, and one of my favorite places to get hummus is Bethlehem.
Without a doubt.
And I know you brought some in the other day. I don't know, it's been probably 3 weeks ago, and now I'm buying a container of it every week.
Well,
and going through it.
It's very healthy. It's great for you. People tend to like it. It's quite easy in the sense. If you have certain dietary needs, a lot of people can eat chickpeas, so it's great. You don't have to use the pita bread. You can just have it in general. I mean, it's got garlic and olive oil and little bit of paprika and lemon, a lot of different things to make it up. Some like to put even a little bit of hot sauce on. So some people have added, grilled beef to it or chicken.
Yep.
So you name it, there's lots of opportunities, but it's a staple in the Middle East as well as in the Mediterranean. So you'll find it all over, whether you're in Turkey, whether you're in Israel, whether you're in Greece, Egypt, Jordan, you name it.
Yeah. And I know in the picture you can see the pita bread that's along with this, and of course you can break that pita bread and dip it into the hummus and eat it that way.
Correct.
You also can kind of cut those pitas are kind of set up to where you could cut those and stuff some of the hummus in there. But something else that you can put in there, and I think you like that quite a bit, is the sauce. The
tahina and
yep.
things like that. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So tahini, it's a creamy kind of sauce. Yeah, right there we've got a photo of that you can use to put inside of your pita. I know the locals in Israel love that. That's kind of a big deal for them. They have hummus. They have this tahini that's at pretty much every meal.
Correct. Including breakfast.
Yeah, I mean it's constantly around. Something that you will be able to find on the buffet pretty much anytime.
Yes.
So let's go back and talk just briefly about buffets and kind of the differences that you'll be looking at whenever you're dealing with a kosher hotel. As we kind of move through these foods, I want to talk about buffets as well. So in the morning time, if you're at a kosher hotel,
correct,
you're probably not going to see some things that you would typically see at your breakfast here.
You will not find at a kosher hotel any bacon or ham or sausage in that manner. They try to keep it where it's more of a dairy and vegetables. Of course, you'll have your eggs and pancakes and waffles and things like that, all different types of salads. And what surprises probably a lot of people is different types of fish. That's also there at breakfast.
Yeah.
So, and depending on your hotel, sometimes the eggs will be pre-made and you can have it and things like that, but they'll also have certain hotels, depending on the level of the hotel and how busy they are. Also, you can order, your eggs the way that you want them, or just have egg whites or scrambled eggs or over easy.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of choices based on that. Lots of breads, but definitely, which people are not used to unless you've been to Israel, a lot of salads.
Yeah.
And salads, you'll find this, it's the Mediterranean, and it's probably one of the healthiest places, I think, in the whole world.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's one of my favorite things whenever I get over there, because I'm constantly in my cucumbers and my radishes and my tomatoes, my pickles, and man, that's some good stuff.
It is.
So in the morning time, you're going to find like you said, you won't have any of the meats that you would normally see on breakfast over here, but you will have all your cheeses, your fish.
Lots of cheeses.
Eggs, different things like that. And in the evening times, it changes and flip-flops where you'll have all of your meats.
Correct.
But none of your cheeses, right?
Correct.
So some differences there that you may just want to think about as you are planning to go over there and kind of setting expectations. You can see on the screen there now some of the Israeli salad, and I know here in just a little while there's going to be another one that has just a good buffet line looking down at it. So the schnitzel. So as you are going out for your day of touring,
yes,
we are typically going to find a spot for you, wherever that might be closest to. We typically don't set up any spots for you to stop and have lunch, because the tour is flexible and movable. So we're not exactly sure where you might be close to whenever it gets to lunchtime, but we have several different options. I mean, we eat at multiple different places throughout Israel.
Without a doubt.
Yep. So, and schnitzel, which is going to be kind of Israeli version, in fact, Israeli, Greek, German version of our fried chicken.
Correct.
So.
Correct. And it's always going to be chicken unless they tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get it as veal, sometimes you can have it as pork. More than likely, those will be more in Europe, not in Israel. So in Israel, it's most likely going to be chicken or turkey.
Yeah.
So,
and normally served with fries. As you can see there, Israeli barbecue. That one is, in fact, usually whenever we stop in Bethlehem, the guys are always doing the Israeli barbecue for us.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a great way to try several different things. So you're going to have multiple different kebabs. You're going to have beef. You're going to have lamb. You're going to have chicken.
Correct.
You're going to have fries. You're going to have all of your different salads.
Lots of salads,
Yeah.
lots of hummus, tahini,
Yeah.
things like that.
I think even probably have some falafels on there, which is the other way to experience chickpeas.
Yep.
And there they form the chickpeas into a little ball. They fry them, and you can put those into the pita.
Yes.
Put your tahini on there.
Also
Your salads.
wonderful, or
Yeah.
hummus.
Yeah, or hummus. But a great way to, that would be another option for you during lunch would be, typically you're going to find schnitzel with fries. You're going to have all your different salads that you would eat. You're going to have an option maybe to choose a falafel.
Yes.
Maybe a chicken breast. Or some different restaurants that we eat at that may have a little bit different option for you. But normally you have 2 or 3 different options as you're going through for lunch.
Correct. And you can also, you know, if you're going to get a sandwich or one of the schnitzels, you can even ask them, can you try and get a, you know, a bowl full or a sample of some of the different falafels and just put them on the table so everybody can try some. It's a great way to do it, and you'll have at least 2, 3, sometimes 4 different opportunities on a normal trip in Israel to be able to have them.
Yeah. And
Also in Jordan too.
Yeah, and I know falafels are different at every restaurant. I've got a couple of places that are my favorite. One of them's right outside of Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Yes.
And that little square, there's a great place there in Jericho. Ronnie Winter took me to that place.
Yep,
And
Jericho
they
has some
have-
great food, Nazareth.
Yeah,
So there's many places, Cana, you think of, if you can think of it, we've been there.
yeah. So, shakshuka.
One of my all-time favorite breakfasts. It just has so much flavor. Some of the best places are actually there in the Tel Aviv area. You can also get it in Jerusalem and other places. You'll find it on some of the buffets, depending on how you like your eggs, if you want them a little more cooked or less cooked.
Yeah.
But the flavor and the tomato sauce and all the flavors that they've done, cooked in an iron skillet, is just incredible. Very healthy.
Yeah.
Very, very healthy.
Now, if you want it your way, make sure that you order your completely separate one. Rick likes his eggs over hard.
I do.
He wants them done. I'm good with over easy.
Yeah.
But Rick won't eat them.
I don't like them too runny. If they're moving too much, I say no.
So just order your own shakshuka.
You got it.
We're going to bounce into some desserts now.
Well, please do.
And I don't know whether I'm going to say this right or not. Borikas.
Barikas.
Okay.
That's correct.
Which is kind of like a little pastry, which is amazing. I may not know how to say it, but everything over here is amazing. Sherry says she's with you on her eggs, I think.
Okay. Thank you, Sherry.
You've got
Appreciate
somebody
that.
there.
And I'll tell you, the barikas, they're great. They can have different types of fillings, from different types of jams to different types of cheeses, honey, you name it, all different types, which is part of the adventure of not always knowing what you're going to order or what you're going to get,
Yeah.
or what you choose from the buffet. But we like to try different things.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're with Rick, you're gonna
Try a lot of
different
things. Yes.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if you're walking around in a group and Rick just happens to be there. If you don't get surprised with some street food that he's found along the way that he wants
that's
you to
half the
try.
fun. Half the fun is trying, and believe it or not, even eating off the streets. I will tell you that in the majority of places in Israel, you can easily eat off the street, not have any issues whatsoever. Turkey, surprisingly, you can do the same. And in Jordan, same applies. And then, of course, when you get to Europe, it's really a no-brainer. But the only time that I would tell you to be cautious is when you're in Egypt. Unless it's cooked and it's fully cooked, then you're going to want to be, or if it's a fruit or a vegetable that you peel, but you just want to make sure that it's not being cleaned in the Nile water, and to make sure that it's fully cooked. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being in Mexico. You just want to make sure.
Just be cautious.
Yeah. So we don't want you to have the curse of the pharaohs. We just want to make sure that you enjoy yourself.
Yes, please, no, none of that while you're traveling. Rick, I'm going to let you try this word.
Halva?
Hey, that looks good.
It's halva. It's dessert.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear about it if we're wrong.
Yeah, it's halva, and it depends. I mean, a lot of times it's, you want to say what they have inside it?
Well, it looks to me like they have pistachios inside of it.
And you like pistachios.
Yeah, I do like pistachios.
I'm not a pistachio person.
So they're going to be mixing that stuff up with honey and pistachios and just different kinds of
a little bit of
things
cinnamon.
like that.
Yep, cinnamon.
Yeah.
Things
So,
like that.
I don't think we have a picture of this, but you have a favorite dessert, which they always bring to you when we're in
Kanaf. It's cheese dessert, and it's wonderful.
I will say that is my favorite.
Yeah, and maybe we'll be able to get a picture of it up. I don't know, Kanaf, but I will tell you, if you haven't had it, you haven't lived.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes, it is so good.
So,
and then last, this is an option for you for lunch whenever you're in the gallery.
this is my son's favorite. He loves the St. Peter's fish,
I know.
and he loves it with everything, the head on it. The real question is, who's going to get the eye?
Yeah, Zach pushes me out of the way for the eyes.
I know.
He's like
I'm always looking for the coin, and I still have yet to find a coin. But truth be told, it's usually a tilapia type of fish, and you do not have to eat it whole, even though that's what it's known for. You can ask to have it filleted, which is kind of nice. So they can fillet it for you. Some places will have it fried for you. And there's always going to be alternatives. You do not have to have the St. Peter's fish. Some of the things that you can have is a schnitzel.
Yeah.
Some places will have pizza, some will have kebabs.
Yeah.
You always salad, soup, you have lots of options. Salad bar, you name it. And when we say a salad bar, it's not just just the salads themselves. It's usually the hummus, the tahini, all the sauces, everything that goes along with it, French fries, things like that.
Yeah.
So you always have options. And later in the show, I will step out and I will have Zach, my son, talk a little bit about some of the different types of options you have for different trips with dietary needs and so forth. So do stay tuned in a little bit later as well.
Yeah. He can tell us how much he loves St. Peter's fish.
Yes, that's his favorite. And when he tells you he really doesn't like it, you just remind him that that's his favorite.
Yes, please call in and tell Zach that you want to have St. Peter's fish with him one day in Israel. So, so again, we talked about it: breakfast buffet, dinner buffet in Israel.
Correct.
And we typically will find I'll call it kind of a snack shop, but it's either a schnitzel or a falafel or a chicken breast or a kebab or something that you'll have the option to purchase for lunch. I know for me, normally, I mean, the amount of food that you get at breakfast and dinner, sometimes it's good for me to skip lunch.
You can, and you don't have to have lunch if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You also have options. Excuse me. If you want to do something lighter, most lunches today range between $15 and $20 a plate, depending on how much you choose to eat, or the elaborate. Excuse me. Or if you decide to have a fillet or St. Peter's fish lunch, it's going to be a little bit more. But as a whole, usually plan $15 to $20 for lunch. If you come in under that, then you've done really well for yourself. But you have lots of options. Some people even will choose, and we try not to say this too often, but you may grab a piece of fruit or something from the breakfast bar and take it with you, have a banana or an apple or something like that.
Sure.
But a lot of people really enjoy the lunches. What's nice about it is you not only are trying different types of foods, but depending on the areas that you are, it's really more local. So like when you're in the Galilee, you might find things in the Galilee that you choose to eat that you may not necessarily find in Jerusalem. And when you're in Bethlehem, you might find things a little different as well.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to come with an open mind. You're traveling to experience, and that's part of what it is. It's not just the sights that you're seeing and the wonderful people you're meeting, but the foods really have quite an impact. And if you have special dietary needs, and again, my son Zach will talk about that, just let your guide know, and they will be able to help you throughout the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what country you're in. If you let us know, we can find you whatever you need.
Yeah. So, talked about Israel. Why don't we bounce over to Greece?
Please.
Yeah. So, Greece. So, a lot of the same foods, but a lot of different foods as well.
They are.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please.
So, I know we. Again, we've talked about. You'll find the hummus. You'll find the salads, again, will be a big deal in Greece as well. But you'll begin to find some different sauces and different things like that. They've got the kebabs that you see on the screen right now. Svalaki is what they call those kebabs over there. So they typically are going to be pork or chicken. And I know you and I had a big argument.
We did.
Remember?
We did. It almost came to this, but it was whether or not it was really pork or beef. But he said it was chicken.
It was chicken.
So I'm going to go with it was chicken. I'm pretty sure it was beef, and I will pretty much bet on it.
This is while we were in Thessaloniki.
We were.
And I just want y'all to know. So we'd already eaten once. And we were trying to find this restaurant on the way back.
Yes.
And we saw it, and Rick goes, "Hey, do you want to try it?" I'm like, "Sure. Well, why not?"
So, and they just had them cooking, and they were on the rotisserie, and I said, how could we not stop here and get some samples? So we did, and we got our souvlaki.
I had chicken, he had pork.
Yeah. But like in Greece, there's so many things. There's saganaki, teramusalata, moussaka, you name it. They have so many different options and things. It's amazing. Mediterranean food, I think one of the things that we enjoy the most is the fresh vegetables. They're just incredible, and whether they're grilling them or sauteing them, the seasonings that they do. I mean, even we didn't talk about like the fried cauliflower and things like that we get. There's so many options. I mean, here's a perfect gyro.
There you go.
But if you're Americanized, you might call it a gyro. But in Greece and other locations, they'll look at you and say, I don't know what a gyro is. So we say it's a gyro, which is the proper way of pronouncing it. And you can do them, again, with beef or pork or chicken. Lots of options.
Yeah, so I know in each area probably call it a different thing. So probably in Israel, the Middle East area, they probably call it a shawarma.
Shawarma.
Which is something that I know you and I both are big fans of.
We love shawarma.
Gyro is in what you would find in Greece, and in a little while we'll be talking about in Germany, which is doner.
A doner.
A doner. So, which I know that was actually one of Zach's favorites.
That really was one of Zach's favorites.
Maybe messing around.
I don't know if it's more than the St. Peter's fish for him, but I will tell you, since he's not a picky eater or anything like that, I would say that would probably be what he liked.
You may get something thrown at you.
I just might.
So, okay.
I may get kicked out.
So, and it looks like, is that tzatziki sauce? So, tahini in Israel, tzatziki
in Greece.
In Greece.
Or Turkey.
Yeah.
Sometimes even in Jordan, sometimes even in Egypt, even in Italy.
Yeah.
But tzatziki goes well with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it with your chicken, you can do it with your rice, you can do it with your pita bread, you name it. Sometimes just add a little over your salads, dip a little bit of your fish in it. It's fantastic.
Put it on your chicken that you think is pork.
Yes.
Put it on there. So it's good stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's and then we've got Greek salads again, which has my favorite cheese on there.
Feta cheese.
Favorite cheese, feta cheese, is my favorite. Zach's favorite as well. He's giving it a thumbs up over there in the corner right now.
And I like it if they put a little bit of potato salad underneath the feta cheese.
Okay, I've heard about
then that's probably my favorite, and a little extra dressing.
Okay.
So I don't think you can ever, and of course the olives are phenomenal. And in this case, you can see they've got the black olives, green olives. Sometimes you have a mixture, but they're amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, the yellow tomatoes are even better than the red tomatoes.
I love it all. I'm just staring at it, waiting to get over there.
You got it.
And then we have moussaka.
If you haven't tried moussaka, you haven't lived. I will tell you, it is really the Greek-style lasagna.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible. Even for the picky eater, they will really like moussaka a lot.
Yeah, so it's made out of eggplant, right?
They can do eggplant, which is most of the cases, or they just do it in meat.
Okay.
So we've had it both ways. And of course, they do it a little different at times too. I mean, it can be a potato, based on that. Depends on how they're doing it. Different types of cheeses.
Yeah.
Sauces, it's amazing. You'll find it a lot at hotels, and of course at some of the local restaurants.
Yeah. I know we're talking about different things that you'll probably find on buffets and different things like that. If there was ever a time you got back in the evening time and you didn't want to eat a buffet at the hotel or whatever, you could actually, if you're close enough, walk out into town and do your own thing.
Absolutely.
And I know we've done that, and you and I have had some amazing octopus and fish and all of those different things in Greece.
Without a doubt. Mussels, calamari,
Yeah.
Octopus is some of the best if it's grilled. A little bit of olive oil and lemon.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So right down on the water, different things like that. What do we have here? The spanakopita. Did I say it?
You were perfect.
Was I?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Of course, I think I said it with a Latin accent, but it's okay.
It's okay. It's still spinach and cheese.
Still spinach and cheese. It's still good, right?
Well, and what's nice is they usually use a feta cheese. So it's more of a white cheese. It makes it kind of nice. So, and again, another one of my son's favorite, Zach.
Yeah, baklava.
Baklava. So you guys have realized he loves the St. Peter fish. Baklava is right up there with it for him.
Yeah, we've said some things that he actually likes and some things that he doesn't like. So we'll let you guys try to figure out exactly what those things are.
Without a doubt.
Why don't we bounce? I'm sorry. Why don't we talk still about hotels and all that? So in hotels in Greece, we'll still be doing buffets typically, right?
Buffets for breakfast and usually buffets for dinner.
Yep.
Sometimes they might do a fixed meal for dinner, but they'll usually give you 4 or 5 choices.
Yep.
So you always have options.
Yep. And then you have the cruise.
And then the cruise is amazing.
Yeah.
Again,
Similar to what you would find on a cruise line that you've been on before, where you'll have buffets and then you'll have sit-down dinners that they'll give you different options to choose from on the boat. Again, I don't know that I try to lose 10, 15 pounds before I go on these trips because I know I'm going to add 20 whenever I get there. So best to work out and get ready to go on this trip. Do the walking. It's going to help you lose some weight. It's also going to help you get ready for the walking that we have on these tours.
yes.
Now you do have a lot of walking that you do, so we usually suggest planning for anywhere from 3 to 5 miles a day. That's going to help you burn those calories.
Yes.
It's going to help you get those calories off, and so that you can try some more food. And then we're going to bounce to Germany next.
Love Germany.
Germany is pretty amazing food. Different than any of the other places that we've been.
Completely different.
Yeah. So when you go to Germany, you've seen a couple of different sausages. We'll call them sausages because what we like to do as Americans, and you and I get in trouble for it all the time.
We do.
Where we say, let's go for a brat. And what does Matthias always say? He's like, are you going to go for a grill? You're going to go for a grill?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what brat. So make sure that you're adding in what that is that you want, because brat means a grill. So he's going to make fun of you.
A grill wurst, a currywurst.
Yeah.
You know.
So different types of, and something that you and I've found is each city has their own way to cook their bratwurst.
They do. They take great pride in it, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, over pine cones, which is what we found, I believe, in Erfurt.
Erfurt or Eisenach.
Yeah.
Eisleben.
Eisleben, yep.
Things
So
like that.
each one has their own kind of spin on the bratwurst. So I would suggest you try those as you travel all the way through.
Yeah, and if you're like us, even if you already have other meals, there's nothing wrong with stopping and picking an extra one up while you're walking along. We're known for doing so.
Yes, we are. So if
Don't
you can't
miss the
find us-
opportunity.
If you can't find us, just find the closest restaurant, and that's probably where we're
Absolutely.
hiding at. So I said this right as we were practicing.
Go for it.
Called a plouffer.
It is a potato pancake.
Potato pancake, which they're very good.
They're wonderful.
Very good.
A lot of times when you eat them, surprisingly, it's not just in Germany or Switzerland or things like that. Surprisingly, you'll find these in the Ukraine and Russia too.
Oh, really?
They're very big, and I grew up eating these.
Really?
And potato pancakes, or as you called them, they're great with applesauce or a little bit of sour cream. And people say, really? But you just, again, they're almost like a pita. where you kind of cut them into pieces and then you can dip them.
He's not taught me this.
So
This is all brand new stuff.
they're incredible. Or you just a little bit of, if you want to do something different, a little bit of honey on top or cinnamon.
Yeah.
So depending if you want it to be more of a lunch, or more of a breakfast.
Are you saving that for our next trip?
We can certainly do that.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Holding out for that.
yes,
So again, schnitzel is an option whenever you are in Germany, and that's going to be one that I know. As we're traveling through Germany, a lot of times the places that we get to stop are at on the freeways, and they're truck stops.
yeah, this is very unique.
Yeah, but they have some pretty amazing restaurants at these truck stops.
Truck stops are not like the truck stops here.
Yeah. So you go up and you have a full-fledged restaurant that's typically upstairs at one of these truck stops, or you can go downstairs and find a pre-wrapped sandwich or something along those lines.
Yeah, and they usually
Candy bar
have
chips.
so many different types of breads to choose from, all your different delicatessen meats,
Yeah.
and then of course they go to things like your schnitzel,
Yep.
your bratwurst, things like that.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. The potato cakes. In fact, whenever Zach and I were over in Germany last time, they actually fried up potato cakes as you ordered them and mixed in different things that you would want, either your bratwurst or chicken or different things like that. So it was really, really good. You can even order a pizza.
You can order pizza, soup, salad. Pricing in Germany for your lunches, whenever you do one of these truck stops or things like that, prices are incredible. Like half the cost of being in Israel or Egypt or Jordan, and the food quality is amazing.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you're at. People just don't realize that.
Yeah. And then you got your Burger Kings, different things like that. Just make sure you know what you're ordering at Burger King. Last time I ordered there, I spent $40. That's a story we'll talk about later, though. Or Zach may tell you about it whenever you call.
Or better yet, don't go to Burger King when you're on one of these trips. Save it for when you come home.
Oh, that's funny.
So Spätzle.
Spätzle. So, which is what, noodles?
They're fresh homemade noodles. They're usually delicious. They put a little bit of cheese on them, some butter. I've had them even where they've had sliced up small pieces of ham.
Oh, yeah.
They're incredible. So definitely something you'll find in Germany, Switzerland, Austria area, all that whole region.
Yeah. So
amazing.
Again, lots of good food. And then this is your potato salad. You like this potato salad, or
I do.
is it still the Greek potato salad? It's a little bit different?
I love the taste of it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you,
Yeah.
if it's more, is this more Germany? More
Yeah.
Switzerland?
Probably not as sweet as what you would find in
No, because that usually is more like a vinegar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yep. So
But it's still tasty.
yeah, I mean everything's good whenever you are running through. I would suggest you try everything. You got your Apfelstrudel, which is going to be some of your desserts. One of our favorite drinks to get while we're over there is called the Apfelstrudel,
That's one of my favorites.
which is kind of like apple juice that's carbonated.
Yes.
And I love my carbonated stuff.
So
Topo Chico, all that good stuff. So we have kind of moved through the European theater, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the UK and
Yes.
Scotland.
Yes.
So
Lots of peas and carrots.
peas and carrots, fish and chips.
Fish and chips are wonderful.
Yeah.
You name it. But there's lots of different options based on it. Shepherd's pie.
One of your favorites is haggis.
I don't. I don't do the haggis. Sorry. There's some things I can do. Irish stew.
We're going to steer you clear of some stuff, and that's going to be haggis.
Yeah. Scones. Love the scones, whether it's breakfast or lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Scotch eggs? You know what those are? Hard-boiled eggs with the sausage, breaded, the meat that's breaded into it.
I'm really surprised that we don't have listed on our thing, and I know it's probably not something that I should talk about because not everybody agrees with it. But they call it porridge, we call it oatmeal, and you will find that they have that primarily in Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
And they have whiskey, and you pour a little bit of whiskey on top of your porridge or oatmeal, and just a little bit of honey on top of it. And I have to tell you, I thought everybody was kidding when they said this, but just a little bit will do you.
Yeah, that would be the way you feel about soft boiled eggs or
Yes.
Soft fried eggs.
Yes, but as a local, I had to try it.
I'm glad you like it.
I did.
Yep, good stuff.
So, absolutely.
So we want to answer any questions that you guys have. If y'all have any questions about any of the food or different buffets or different things like that that we might have over there. Yeah, Zach's going to come over and we are going to chat a little bit here in just a couple of minutes about dietary restrictions and the options for gluten-free and different things like that. So,
if there's anything else that I can add is, first and foremost, thank you for tuning in and being a part of this. We love having you a part. We'd love to receive your questions. If you have certain ideas on questions that you'd like for us to answer in the future, or even more so, there's something as a topic that you would like for us to do for you, to touch on, we'd love that opportunity. So just email us at info@ittworld.com or sales@ittworld.com, and anything that you can think of, we would love to research if we don't know it, or get you the proper answers, or touch on it.
Yeah, we'd love to be able to do some things that you guys are looking to hear about, and we just want to do some things that get you excited about the trip that you have coming up, or maybe the trip that you're thinking about planning.
Yes, without a doubt.
So
wonderful. I'm going to trade out and give my mic to Zach and have him share with you a little bit more on your dietary needs and what to expect.
Yeah. So while we are waiting for that, we can talk about the different ways for you to get information into us with dietary needs. So as you are beginning to register and you're getting ready to send in your registration, you will be able to actually be able to input some of that. He's tall. Or maybe he's short, so there you go.
Ooh, not too low. I'll work with it.
So this is Zach Rickard.
Hello.
And you are our
General manager.
General manager.
Yeah, I generally manage a lot of things.
Hey, you do that for sure. So
I think that's a good way to put it.
yeah, you and I traveled together just recently to Germany and Switzerland, France. We also went to Greece together for a brief little bit. So anything you want to share about your favorite foods while we were traveling?
You know, I really enjoyed the St. Peter's fish, so much so that I want others to experience it more than me.
Told you.
And so with that, typically, if it's on the menu, I will suggest it to anyone that's not myself. So the more that they can experience, the less I have to experience.
Okay.
But it is worth experiencing at least once.
You got to try it at least once. Try it at least once.
You know, there was one dish, I couldn't remember the name of it, and I think that you do. It was something that we had when we were in France. It was like the flatbread. I was looking for a picture of it and I didn't take one.
I was trying to think of what the name while your dad and I were talking, and I do not remember. But it's a flatbread with...
it's like a pastry almost.
Yeah, it's a big pastry with cheese, and you can put on onions and ham and different things.
Mine had
like
onion and ham, yeah.
Yep, that was very good.
It was really good. It was probably one of my favorite meals.
We will figure that out and talk about it.
We will.
At the very first part of the next one.
Deal.
And we'll
I'm
even
good
have a
with that.
picture of it. So, but... So you were going to come on and talk about ways for people to get in about gluten-free or MSG or all the different maybe food allergies that people might have.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I want to say that probably allergies are one of the easiest things that we can actually work with. So typically in advance, the best way to combat some of that stuff is to actually send it to us and send it specifically to your operations representative, because what we can do is ahead of time, we can actually make those requests. That way you don't have to worry about anything when you show up. So what that will kind of look like is if you write to us an email, if you don't know who your operations representative is, you can write to us at info@ittworld.com. But if you know who your representative is, write to them directly or call our office and pretty much state what your allergies are, what your intolerances may be. Mm-hmm. So if you have a gluten intolerance, if, like you said, you're allergic to MSG, I myself can't do soy. I think it's MSG, but soy is a big thing for me. So when I actually go overseas, I have to write that myself. And typically what we'll do is we'll either make sure that when you're over in Israel or Greece or Germany, you'll have a separate meal that's maybe different from that of the group. So a lot of the times we'll have set dinners or set lunches. You know, when you go to Qumran, it's typically buffet style. And so what that looks like is we would inform the guide in advance. The guide will then go in front of the group on your behalf and say, hey, this is such and such, they have this intolerance or allergy. And then that person will, whoever's at the line or the buffet will bring out that dish specifically for them, for the individual. Yeah. Same goes for dinners, especially at the hotels where they have buffets. Sometimes they'll actually make something from the kitchen, or a lot of the times they'll direct you as to what you can and cannot have. So someone from the hotel will come out and say, hey, these are all the items that have these in it. You know, some people are allergic to eggs. We had an employee that was allergic to strawberries at one point.
Oh,
so,
boy.
I mean, all of those things will be pointed out. So we do our best to try and combat that. When you're on a Greece trip, specifically the cruises, the dining rooms are great for accommodating those allergies. They actually have a special section back in the kitchen where they'll cook your things separately. So, for example, you know, if you can't have gluten even touching your food, they have a special section for that. They clean it better than maybe they would clean the other sections between different meals. But they would bring that out to you. The sooner that we have that information, the better. But maybe it's a new allergy, it just came up, or maybe you found out a week before you go. As I think you and Rick said, if you can address it with your guide upon arrival, so maybe that first night or the first morning, then we can easily make those accommodations even on the fly.
Yeah, always a good idea to have a conversation with your guide whenever you arrive. Just make sure that they are aware of it, which they have all of that stuff. They keep with them in a folder, and then they will make sure that they kind of guide you through everything. I know as well as while you're overseas, we also share that information with the airlines, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and that's another big one. I mean, with the airlines, sometimes they can make the request same day, but those ones specifically, if it's a major allergy, we do need to know that in advance. So typically speaking, how the airlines work is they prepare all of the meals in advance. So for example, if you fly to Israel on one of their airlines like El Al, if you're kosher, they will set aside specific allotments of those meals for those that are kosher. But sometimes they do have one or two as a spare, you know. Sometimes people drop their food, or sometimes even the flight attendants, you know, maybe they thought they had more and they set something to the wrong side. Things happen, accidents happen all the time, but they are prepared, thankfully.
Yeah, so they are normally going to bring that out ahead of serving everybody else their meals, and it's probably going to have what the allergy is on the meal, as well as your name on it, to make sure that it's going to the correct person. I know we send that over to the airlines 90 to 120 days out, normally requesting any of those things. So the sooner that you can get that into us, the better. I think, like Zach said, even as you register, or as soon as you register, sending in an email to your operations person, then we can make sure that we can share all that info.
Absolutely.
So I know on the airlines they will have typically meals that deal with allergies, but their snacks and different things typically are not going to be have anything like that they give specifically to people with allergies.
Yeah, some of those it'll be up to the passenger's discretion. So, you know, on most flights, whether you see Southwest, United, Air Canada, they'll have, you know, mixed nuts, they'll have pretzels, just little finger foods throughout your flight, especially those longer ones. And so those will kind of be at your discretion. So if you know that you have an intolerance to gluten, probably stay away from the pretzels. The flight attendants, at least every flight that you and I have been on together, have been really good about saying, hey, you know, this is what this snack contains. I don't know that it's good for you if you've already told them.
Yeah.
So that is kind of one of those blessings. We do live in an age where I think it's becoming more common that people know that they have intolerances. So the airlines are more willing to work with people, which definitely helps.
So probably a good idea if you have one of those allergies, make sure you bring some snacks along with you that you can eat while you're on the plane, or even eat with you while you're on the bus and running through wherever you're touring. So I know the river cruises, we didn't jump into those, but I know they are very attentive to those needs. Whenever we were on the river cruise, that they were always asking questions, making sure that they're bringing out whatever they need to make sure that they're meeting the needs of the people who are. We had a good friend was traveling with us who is gluten allergy, MSG allergy. I mean, she has to have some very specific foods to eat, and they did a very good job of making sure that was taken care of. So we share that information overseas, and they always do a good job of making sure that you have something good and something that you're going to enjoy eating.
I'm a little jealous that you guys keep going on all these river cruises.
Yeah.
Still haven't been on one. Waiting for Rick to send me.
We'll try to get you that, if you could eat some more St. Peter's fish, we probably could get you over there.
Ooh. I know the one thing we haven't talked on, and this is probably my favorite topic. I haven't had enough of it today. Coffee.
Coffee.
You are not a big coffee drinker.
I have a couple of cups every morning,
yeah.
But I like my, which you're going to make fun of it, I'm sure, but I like my McDonald's coffee.
They don't have your McDonald's coffee overseas.
They don't.
No, they do have Burger King.
It would probably cost $40 if they did.
Yeah. I feel like I should explain the $40 Burger King.
No, you don't need to.
So
I think you were jumping into coffee.
I'm pretty sure there's like 20 questions about. So what happened was, because now I'm going to enjoy this. So Tim and I, when we actually did one of these live streams, it was very similar to this.
Yeah, we
I don't
were in Geneva.
remember. What was the church we were at?
St. Peter's Cathedral.
St. Peter's Cathedral.
Yeah.
And knowing me, the apple did not fall too far from the tree. And so I inherited from Rick the fact that I like to eat food, which probably doesn't show on camera because, isn't the saying you lose 20 pounds?
Yeah.
Right? But anyways, we're walking back through the streets. I think we were trying to get back to the train station. And instead of actually, finding the directions back to our hotel, I found the directions to Burger King. And I may or may not have tricked Tim into walking all the way to Burger King. And somehow, some way, I still to this day don't understand how you did it.
I don't know either.
But Tim ordered 2 Whopper meals, like 2 full-blown meals. He brings out the trays and we're looking at them and I'm like, I did not order this. I ordered a single burger, and Tim's looking at me going, I don't know what's going on. Next thing you know, he's looking at the receipt and we're trying to convert it from Swiss francs to US, and I think then you realized you were sitting at like $39 US.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is expensive Whopper meal. But
wasn't it a good snack though?
I had 2 of them, yeah. Midnight snack.
I was envious.
I think you were going to talk about coffee.
Coffee. So, one of my favorite things is coffee, and I'm going to try to keep this quick because if I don't, I'm going to need another cup.
Yeah.
So coffee overseas does vary, I would say, significantly than what we have here domestically. So one of my favorite restaurants, if you can't tell by the Bass Pro hat and just the color of shirts, I love Cracker Barrel.
Okay.
I think they have amazing food, and I know that sounds like I live in Florida, which we do, but they have very good coffee. But essentially it's kind of like a drip coffee.
Okay.
Whereas when you go to the hotels in Israel and Germany and Greece, that's not as common. What you'll actually find is espresso machines. And so they will make your lattes, your Americanos, your cappuccinos, all of the things like that. So it is a little bit different. Being a big coffee drinker, there's kind of a twist in that. Sometimes in Israel, at some of the hotels, you'll actually find like that pour coffee. Mm-hmm. And they have creamer, especially in the mornings. But with that, in Greece, that's very uncommon. If you go to the hotel, typically they'll tell you, there's the machine over there, go use it. But they don't have your typical just pour it in a cup of coffee, or pour it in a cup. Like, that just doesn't exist. On the cruise lines, they do. So if you're at the buffet or if you're at breakfast, they will actually bring it out to you, or they'll direct you as to where you can get it. But even in Germany, I struggle to find a good cup of coffee, because we tried Dunkin' that first day, and Germany, no, Switzerland,
We were
Dunkin'.
in Switzerland, yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think what you asked for was something completely different than what you got.
yeah, I don't know what they gave me to this day. I just remember it was $15 and it did not taste great.
So Dunkin' Donuts
Dunkin'
in Switzerland don't go there. But we do have, but like Zach said, they've got the machines typically in there where you get your In fact, normally an Americano is going to be something maybe similar to what you would find out of your drip cup, but maybe a little bit stronger. And then your cappuccinos, your macchiatos, all the different things that you can find there. And sometimes if you will ask about it, sometimes they will bring out a what's the word I'm looking for? A little pot of coffee and set it on your table so that you can pour that. Turkish coffee in Israel.
Turkish coffee. I did not realize, so I'm a new coffee drinker. I think you knew this because you always came in with your cup of coffee and I was like, ugh, coffee. But Turkish coffee is one of those weird things. It's like a shot of coffee and it's extremely strong. It tastes amazing. The only thing, and I think you and I agree with this, is the coffee grounds in the bottom typically. Maybe it's the filter system they use. I don't understand it, but there's almost always coffee grounds. And we know some people that favor the coffee grounds.
Yeah, I've got a good friend that I've traveled with, one of the pastors, I won't mention his name, but he loves to chew on the grounds at the bottom of the Turkish coffee.
Hey, more power to him. I do not like coffee grounds in my coffee. That's just me. I don't know. If you like coffee grounds in your coffee, by all means.
Yeah, Turkish coffee is definitely something you should try, and maybe you like it. I'm not a big fan of it, but I don't have to be either. So.
No, and if you don't like coffee, almost all of the hotels, the cruise line, they also offer tea. Typically, they'll provide you with a cup of water or a cup, and then a kettle of water and the tea bags. Yeah. So you can make your own teas.
Yeah, I know your dad likes to grab the tea bags and drink those instead of the coffee from time to time. So
yeah, and you can get those with breakfast, lunch, dinner, pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
So
normally at the end of a meal, they're going to offer you a coffee or a tea or something like that. So good time to try coffees and different coffees from around the world. So
to which I would accept. I love coffee now.
Yes, you do.
Cannot pull me away from it.
I'm excited to get you back over for another coffee. So. Well, do we have anything else that we need to chat about?
I don't think so. I mean, if anyone has questions, we can be here for a minute, but I think we've covered everything. We've talked about dietary requirements. We've talked about what to expect. You guys did a great job about, what to expect at the hotels for breakfast and dinner. The only thing that I can think of is, do you want to talk a little bit about maybe what a farewell dinner looks like?
Oh, sure. So normally you're going to have the night before you leave, you'll have what we call a farewell dinner. Now sometimes that may be at a hotel, but typically that's going to be at a restaurant out in town. There are several ones that we use in all of the places that we travel to, but I'm just thinking about Israel. Normally you might make a trip back to Jaffa.
Yep, that's a good place.
Yeah. And have dinner there before you head to the airport. But your farewell dinner is normally going to be at a restaurant, a local restaurant, and again, you're going to have some local cuisine that you would enjoy.
Absolutely.
So I know Fishes and Loaves is one that that we go to in Israel. Abraj is one in Jaffa. So. Normally it's going to be something a little bit different than what you've been eating as you've kind of traveled along.
Pretty much. I mean, you can find common favorites. So I mean, myself, I like a lot of pastas. Most restaurants, even at the buffets and almost all of our locations, you can find a nice pasta. But typically the farewell dinner is great for finding something that you won't normally find at a buffet or at, a truck stop or at, like the Via Dolorosa as you're walking through and there's like those snack carts.
Sure, yeah. Unless you get somebody, a tour host that likes to take you to the Elvis Diner and as you head back to the airport, which is a great place to get a burger in Israel. So
it is.
And it's all set up with Elvis Presley memorabilia.
And did you hear they just got a Shake Shack in Tel Aviv?
Really?
I think it's about a year old at this point, but if you want Shake Shack, they have that too. We can make that a farewell dinner.
That's a great idea. And they don't have, normally they don't have Starbucks over in Israel. They're going to have coffee shops called Aroma. I believe
was
is one.
very good.
Unless you're in Bethlehem and then they don't have Starbucks, but they have Stars and Bucks, which you'll want to stop and get your coffee mug
Absolutely.
while you're there.
I think we have like 3 of them in our kitchen.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah.
I know Stivey buys them every time he goes over there. So
it's cool memorabilia.
yeah, of course it is.
So
well, no new questions have popped through. Again, like Rick mentioned before, if you have an idea of something that you would love for us to talk about, on Imagine That, we would love to hear from you on that. So if you could send that into info@ittworld.com, info@ittworld.com. I did it slow just for them to be able to catch that.
I think they appreciate it.
Yeah, probably. And then, or you can give us a call. Happy to always chat with you guys, 863-709-9208. If you're wanting to, if you have any questions about the tour that you're traveling on, if you're a tour host looking to put a tour together, we'd love to talk to you and see what we can do to help make that happen. So great, all of our stuff is typically faith-based, so we see this as a huge discipleship piece for the church to be able to use. So we are always excited about getting overseas and seeing all of the new things or even the old things. We have a lot of great friends over there that we get to visit. As you've traveled with us, you've probably created some of those relationships as well, and we look forward to helping you guys make that happen. So you got anything?
Nope, that's it. I mean, small peek into the rest of our week, or not really our week, but our month. Next week, we'll be talking about river cruises.
Okay.
So if people want to hear more about food, specifically river cruise food, that's a good opportunity.
I have some pictures of that, yeah.
And then I think we're actually going to be out and about later in the month. So not next week, but the following week.
Oh, yeah.
We might try something different.
I kind of know what that idea is, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, people might have to bear with us. It's going to be different than what we normally do. Actually, it's going to be more reminiscent of what you and I did in Geneva.
Yeah.
So they'll have to stay tuned.
We enjoyed that. So, well, great. Well, thanks for tuning in to Imagine That again this week. We will be back again next Tuesday at 3, where we will be talking about river cruises. And again, shoot us some of your ideas for things that you would like to have us talk and walk through for you. Hope you guys have a great week. Look forward to seeing you next week. God bless.
Bye. Because I have to go